Hey folks, and welcome to CarStars' Joe's 93 Dodge Viper Defender in the 1994 TV series, Viper. Fact number 1. The custom Dodge Vipers used to portray the Viper Defender in the show were based on the 1993 model year Dodge Viper RT10 chassis and underwent significant modifications to suit the show's futuristic crime-fighting theme. Designed by Chrysler's Steve Ferrario and then built by the unique Movie Cars Group of Las Vegas under the direction of Mike Sciortino, there were approximately a dozen different Defender Vipers constructed in different configurations to fit the needs of the show over its 4-season, 78-episode run, and there were a lot of configurations indeed, which we'll get into more details of a bit later on. There were also several stock Dodge Vipers used throughout the show to portray the car in its normal driving mode. These Vipers range from 1992 model Dodge Viper RT10s to 1996 model Viper GTSs. In contrast, the Viper Defenders were extensively modified, including a custom-molded fiberglass body, unique interior setups, and other props to make them appear to be advanced weaponized vehicles. Fact number 2. As many of you probably remember, primarily because Dodge advertised the heck out of it back in its day, the first-generation Dodge Viper was powered by a Lamborghini-developed 8-liter V10 engine, a defining feature that played a crucial role in establishing the Viper as a high-performance, no-compromise sports car. The V10 produced an impressive 400 horsepower and 465 pound-foot of torque, sending the power to a 6-speed manual transmission. These figures allowed the Viper to achieve a 0 to 60 miles per hour time of around 4.6 seconds and a top speed of over 165 miles per hour, making it one of the most powerful production cars of its time. So, you may assume that the custom-built Viper Defenders just utilized the Viper's stock V10, but if so, you'd be incorrect. Instead, they swapped in 360 V8 engines paired with a 727 automatic transmission for the Defenders. This decision was made because the original V10 engine ran too hot during filming, making it impractical for the high demands of TV production, and they did their best to hide this fact from viewers, with even going as far as covering the engine bay with aluminum foil during some of the hood open scenes. Fact number 3. The first-generation Dodge Viper, introduced in 1992, was designed to be a modern-day sports car, but with muscle car-like aesthetics that emphasized raw power and simplicity. The Viper RT10 Roadster, as it was called, featured the aforementioned, quite torque-drunk V10 engine. The car was a no-frills driver-focused machine lacking common amenities such as air conditioning, ABS, traction control, and even exterior door handles. The absence of these features helped to keep the car lightweight for its size, focusing on the driving experience rather than comfort. The Viper's interior was equally minimalistic, with basic controls and gauges. Despite its Spartan design, the Viper quickly became a symbol of American automotive performance, beloved for its raw, untamed driving characteristics and aggressive muscular styling. The Viper was a modern interpretation of classic American muscle cars like the Shelby Cobra, and his debut at the 1989 Detroit Auto Show created quite a stir. By the time it hit the streets in '92, the Viper had already developed a strong following. This first generation of the Viper set the stage for Dodge's high-performance line and became an iconic ride known for its unbridled power and unique character. Fact number 4. The special effect, typically referred to as the Hex Snakeskin transformation for the first season of the series, was created by the Metro Light Studios group. Sources indicate that it cost $50,000 for each of the several unique transformation scenes, so each time a unique special effects transformation was commissioned, it was actually more expensive than the cost of a whole brand new Dodge Viper at the time. After the first season, the transformation special effect switched to a different method of using 3D modeled rendered animations of the car to portray its morphing ability, which was a very obvious difference to viewers. This more Transformers type of 3D animation, whether it looked better or worse than the first season's technique, which is a topic of debate, was used for the remainder of the series. Another standout transformation feature of the Defender portrayed within the show was the 4-wheel drive mode, which allowed the Defender to navigate difficult terrains, enhancing its pursuit capabilities on various surfaces like dirt, mud, snow, or rocky off-road environments. Although there's little information out there available regarding the actual build of these off-road versions of the Defender, from closely analyzing and comparing clips across the 4 seasons of the show, I can tell you that some of them are truly 4-wheel drive and most likely built upon a truck chassis. while others are actually a two-wheel drive setup, as some of them lack a front axle, and also the front tires are not pulling on loose terrain. The two-wheel drive off-road Defenders are most likely Viper chassis based with lifted suspension. The hovercraft mode was another interesting Defender transformation, introduced to further amplify the car's abilities. In this mode, the Defender could hover above the ground, gliding smoothly over deep water that traditional wheels couldn't handle. The hovercraft transformation was only used twice in the show, and only within the last season of the series. It should be noted, if it wasn't already obvious enough by looking at it, the hovercraft mode vehicle was 100% CGI, as there was never an actual real-world hover stunt vehicle built to portray it, due to a number of reasons. Fact number 5. The Defender was portrayed as being equipped with an array of interesting technologies, ranging from offensive weapons to advanced surveillance systems. Over the course of the series, the car displayed features such as a grapple launcher, laser cannons, heat-seeking missiles, a static pulse, or EMP emitter to disable enemies in a number of ways. The Defender's flying drone device, known as the Probe, was another one of the high-tech gadgets featured in the Viper TV series often. This probe drone would launch from the trunk to aid in missions, allowing it to survey areas from the air and gather crucial intelligence. It was equipped with advanced surveillance equipment including cameras and sensors, but also featured a quite useful high-power laser along with other tools as well. In addition, the Defender had bulletproof armor, which allowed it to withstand significant damage, and cloaking capabilities, which enabled it to become invisible for stealth missions. The car could also deploy a stun gun from the front grille and project holograms of itself or other vehicles and objects, which was a very handy feature and was used often in the context of the show. These features, combined with the Viper's already impressive speed and agility, made the Defender a central character in the show, reinforcing its role as the ultimate crime-fighting machine throughout its run. Fact number 6. After filming concluded, the studio ordered the remaining Viper Defenders along with several other vehicles used in the show to be scrapped and/or crushed, as many vehicles used in the series were heavily damaged, and many were also Chrysler prototypes as well. Instead, however, a corrupt lawyer by the name of David Laurent orchestrated the sale of some of the vehicles to private buyers, generating nearly $500,000 in sales for himself illegally. Laurent falsified documents, enabling some of the vehicles to be registered despite legal and safety concerns. The scandal involved 72 vehicles used on the TV show. Many of the stock Vipers were even sold to auto dealers and institutions like the British Columbia Justice Institute. Laurent was convicted of fraud, receiving an 18-month conditional sentence. He also faced an investigation by the Law Society of British Columbia, where his professional conduct was scrutinized due to the abuse of his position. The scandal not only raised legal issues, but also highlighted the potential danger of selling stunt vehicles that were not fit for public roads. Fact number 7. Over the years, a few Viper Defenders from the series have surfaced at prestigious auctions, fetching impressive bid amounts due to their rarity and pop culture significance. One of the earliest high-profile sales took place at a Maycomb auction in 2010, where one of the surviving functional Defenders received bids up to $270,000, but didn't meet the set reserve price, which was $300,000. Then in 2013, the same Viper Defender from the Maycomb auction was listed on eBay, but the reserve was not met once again, as it only reached a bid price of $174,100. More recently, in 2023, another different functional Viper Defender from the show appeared on bringatrailer.com, where it did sell for $141,777. These public auctions and the interest they generated highlight the Defender's enduring appeal among collectors, not only for its connection to the show, but also for its extensive unique custom modifications and bodywork. Fact number 8. So, are any of the Viper show's Viper Defenders still around today, you ask? Well, most of the Defenders were left in various states of assembly and were scrapped or otherwise destroyed during the production of the show, as was the case for the off-road mode versions of the Defender as well. Some Defenders were even directly destroyed on screen as part of the show, such as this one for this scene here. Not to mention, a handful of the stock Dodge Vipers also met the same fate, such as these unfortunate victims here. However, as for still fully intact and functional Defenders anyway, it is estimated that there's only between 2 to 4 survivors left out there as of today. One of the most notable surviving Defenders is housed directly back at Unique Movie Cars in Las Vegas, which is the company that originally built the Viper Defenders for the series. Other surviving Defenders have made appearances at auctions and/or car shows over the years, as previously mentioned, and have ended up in the hands of some lucky private collectors. Fact number 9. And for you video game fans out there, although there wasn't an official Viper TV show video game released, there was a very cool fan-made Viper Defender add-on mod car released for the very popular open-world video game Grand Theft Auto V, bringing the iconic crime-fighting vehicle from the series into the world of Los Santos, allowing players to experience the unique design and capabilities of the car within the game. This mod faithfully replicates the Viper Defender, including its futuristic armored exterior, the silver body, and the sleek angular lines that made it instantly recognizable on the show. Players can also enjoy some of the high-tech gadgets that were featured in the series, such as deployable side cannon weapons, laser, defensive shields, and other gadgets, which are integrated directly into the car. And if that wasn't enough, there's even a functional hovercraft mode that can be deployed as well to patrol the waters, with adding a whole other level of versatility. The Viper Defender mod enhances the gameplay experience in GTA 5 by adding a multi-function, visually striking vehicle that's perfect for high-speed chases, crime-fighting missions, or simply cruising through the city. Fact number 10. As for scale models of the Defender, although there really wasn't much merchandise from the Viper series, there were at least a couple of Viper Defender model replicas released briefly. However, there was almost a mass-produced Matchbox release of a 1/64th scale die-cast Viper Defender, but apparently after a very limited initial release of the model, those plans got cancelled. Worse yet, there hasn't been any other manufacturers to date that have made a die-cast or plastic model kit of it yet. The most prominent official release of the Viper Defender, however, was this 1/14th scale plastic remote control car made by Tyco RC. It does, however, look pretty detailed and accurate for a small RC car though. However, apparently not many of these were made either, as there aren't even any available on eBay at the time of making this video. However, fans still want some scale models made of the Viper Defender, as you can see from this petition to multiple companies, complete with mock-up packaging images, over at change.org. So, that means if any big fans of this show watching this would like to try helping the effort to make that happen, you can go to this site and digitally sign the petition if you like. That leaves fans who are wanting a model of the Viper Defender right now that can't find one of the few very rare Matchbox or Tyco RC models will have to build one themselves. Probably the best and most easily obtainable Dodge Viper RT model kit to do that with at the moment would be this 1/25th scale one here from AMT, and I actually haven't seen anyone do that yet online, so it would be a unique item for sure. I'll leave a link to where you can get this model kit in the description below for those interested. And for those of you who haven't seen it yet, I also have my own diecast car channel named Show and Tell Diecast that I display and detail my diecast models that I add videos to also. I will include a link to the diecast channel in the video description below for those interested. Well, there you have it, folks. Thanks for watching, and make sure to hit that subscribe button if you like what you saw here. You guys are all great. See you next time.